As a doctor of clinical nutrition, I'm often asked, what are your top 5 anti-aging foods? Well, here they are: buckwheat, avocado, pomegranate, fatty fish, and olive oil. Stay tuned to find out why. One scientifically proven eating pattern to slow down the aging process is the Mediterranean diet eating plan, inspired by the traditional diet in countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, including France, Italy, Spain, Morocco, and Greece. So naturally, that was the inspiration for my list, since several clinical studies have associated this diet with a longer life. However, it was important to take into consideration specific mechanisms or pillars of aging and identify foods that would target those pillars. So let's get started. The first food that we'll cover is buckwheat. Now, many are not aware that buckwheat is actually not wheat. It is known as a pseudo cereal. It's naturally gluten-free, and it's actually the seed of a plant similar to rhubarb. Now, buckwheat is on my top 5 list for a key mechanism of aging related to senescent cells. Those are cells in the body that they're not really dead, they're not really alive, but what we do know is that they damage nearby cells and they also spew out inflammation. So we want to get rid of some of those senescent cells, and buckwheat is rich in a couple of high antioxidant nutrients, rutin and quercetin. Quercetin is one of the first identified nutrients to target senescent cells. But that's not all. Buckwheat also is high in fiber, so it can target excess blood sugar levels, help to control your blood sugar and your weight management. So it is also targeting a mechanism called glycation, which is a known mechanism of aging. Glycation is when sugars bind to proteins in your body, rendering those proteins non-functional. And of course, the antioxidants can fight free radicals and target oxidative stress. So that's buckwheat: senescent cells, glycation, and oxidative stress. Now, my number 2 anti-aging food is avocado. Who doesn't like avocado? I eat avocado on my toast, on my salads, and avocado is known as being a food that contains lots of healthy fat, similar to the type of fat that you find in olive oil. However, that's not why avocado is on my list. Avocado is jam-packed with carotenoids, and it actually has a wide variety of carotenoids. Now, carotenoids are a type of pigment that you find in colorful fruit and vegetables, as well as avocado. And those carotenoids have powerful free radical scavenging ability. So when we look at mechanisms of aging, avocado is fighting oxidative stress, which is the buildup of free radical damage over time. But there's another mechanism. Remember, we talked about glycation, the binding of proteins and sugars, those sugars rendering those proteins non-functional. Well, avocado is 80% fiber. So we know what fiber does. Again, that's going to slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, helping to support healthy blood glucose levels and helping to target glycation. And also, the antioxidants in avocado can also help to manage inflammation. So it's targeting oxidative stress, glycation, and inflammation. Now, one fun fact about avocado is that most of the antioxidants, those carotenoids, are found right underneath the skin. So you can see how the avocado is light and then it gets darker right under the skin. And so I like to cut my avocado in these kind of triangles, and then I can just peel back the skin so I don't miss any of those beneficial carotenoids. My third anti-aging food is pomegranate. You probably guessed this would be on my list. Many people know pomegranate as a superfood. It's full of polyphenol antioxidants such as ellagic acid and punicalagins, but that's not why pomegranate is on my list. A specific anti-aging mechanism that we want to upregulate is called autophagy. Autophagy is the process where the cell just kind of recycles old unwanted components and reuses and repurposes some of those components. So it's kind of a cellular cleanup process. I call it detox at the cell level. Well, pomegranate, when it's metabolized, or when those antioxidants like ellagic acid is metabolized by your gut bacteria, it creates a compound or a molecule called urolithin A. And this urolithin A helps the body to upregulate autophagy, but to be more specific, mitophagy. So it helps us to recycle defective mitochondria. And we know that the mitochondria, that's our energy powerhouse of the cell, and we need our mitochondria, the ones that are there, to be working in tip-top shape. So pomegranate to support urolithin A and autophagy. My fourth food or type of food is fatty fish. So you see I have salmon here, I have some sardines that I'll probably have for lunch today. And we do know that fatty fish are a great source of omega-3 fatty acids, EPA, and DHA. So those are natural anti-inflammatory nutrients in the body. So you guessed it, fatty fish is targeting chronic inflammation. That is a mechanism of aging. We know chronic inflammation plays a role in age-related diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer, and even Alzheimer's disease. And what's interesting, a meta-analysis found that the highest consumption of the omega-3s, EPA and DHA, is associated with a 14% reduction in the risk of dying from any cause compared to the lowest omega-3 consumption. So what we have here is about a 3-ounce serving of fatty fish. You should have that maybe a couple of times per week to fight inflammation. All right, I saved the best for last. I was gonna do a nice sound effect. Maybe I will. Olive oil. Now, olive oil is known to be one of the key components of the Mediterranean diet that researchers relate to its anti-aging benefits. We know that olive oil provides healthy fats, oleic acid. Olive oil is full of antioxidant polyphenols, so we know that it's going to target oxidative stress. But I chose olive oil for its benefit with targeting healthy gene expression related to the aging process. Polyphenols are believed to modulate nearly 100 human genes related to cell signaling and age-associated processes. Scientists analyzed data from a large prospective study that followed over 40,000 participants. And, you know, in that study with that many participants, there was a total of over 500,000 person years. So basically, this was a way for us to evaluate, or the scientists to evaluate longevity. And they observed a 26% reduction in mortality among healthy adults in the upper quartile of olive oil consumption compared to the non-consumers. So what are we saying? Douse olive oil on your salads, on your food, and you can cook with it. You don't have to worry about the high heat and the temperature. If you have a good olive oil full of polyphenols, then you can cook and fry with your olive oil. My fifth anti-aging nutrient. And just to cover it all, again, we have buckwheat, avocado, pomegranate, fatty fish, and olive oil. Dr. Crystal's top 5 anti-aging foods.